Hey guys, welcome to the next episode of Predicting Patterns. We got Smith Lake, Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour. Got a special guest tonight, David Kilgore, two-time Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Open champion. Won one of them on Smith Lake and one on Logan Martin. So this guy right here is a herring specialist. But David, I don't guess the herring other than the herring spawn is going to be the deal right now.
Yes and no. I mean, the herring spawn's going to be a big deal right now. I know a lot of guys, to me up there last week, you find the herring spawn really well, but you just couldn't find a lot of fish in them. Some people obviously found the herring spawn and found fish in them. They're starting to move offshore. So to sit there and say, depending, with this weather getting as hot as it is, and when I say offshore, I mean, you may be sitting in 120 feet of water and catching spotted bass chasing herring.
Yeah.
So that deal's going to crack wide open any day. I mean, I've caught a few doing it, but that deal's fixing to get started. But the guy that, on the herring to me, the guy that finds a big pocket that the herring are spawning in the mornings really strong, and then what happens, those herring back out and get in the middle, down in the ditch. And if you're lucky enough to find that ditch that they all get out there, it's got the bass in them, it can get really, if somebody finds that little deal, and I figure a couple of them will, if somebody finds that little deal, they're going to catch a lot of good ones really quick.
So you fished the Open this week up there, and you said you made a wrong turn. That lake is so spread out. Like if you do make a wrong move, it just seems like you're an hour and a half from what else you want to do. You know what I mean? Is that kind of what happened to you in this one?
I went left, should have went right. I mean, the shad are spawning really well in certain areas of the lake, but it's very few areas. I had a couple of big bites up one of the left arms and went up there, and I just made the wrong turn. And Friday, of course, I went up there, and I think I was 120 something first day, and then I bounced back to 41st. Missed a check by now. So, I mean, it was just, I made the wrong decision. It was one of them too much practice deals if I wouldn't have as much practice. But the shad spawn deal for a lot of guys in the morning is going to be a big deal. And of course, with their format of only 40 and 40 each day, that deal shouldn't get beat up too bad. But, I would look for a lot of them right off the bat that finds a shad spawn and a herring spawn. You'll see score tracker light up, a lot first thing in the morning.
It's interesting to me that shad and herring spawn. So I fished a shad spawn a few times, and I did pretty good in an Everstart on one on Seminole. But man, it's like the shad spawn dies first thing in the morning, and then if it gets sunny quick or whatever, it's over. And you can't. I haven't been able to figure out how to catch them relating to those shad. I don't know where the shad go. I don't know where the bass go. The herring deal. Can you still catch those fish? They just move around with those herring.
Yes, they move around with a herring. I mean, and I'm not an expert at it. I'm still learning. I mean, Smith had them in it when I won up there. I think I won up there in, let's say, a Fish Classic in 14 at Gunnersville, and I won the next week at Smith. So, the herring were in there, and nobody knew it. And, what I found was the jackpot. I found 4 or 5 places that there was millions of herring, and there was tons of giant bass in there. But it's never been that way since. But yes, I'm no expert at herring fishing, but the herring to me, catch them right off, in the winter especially. You catch them right off the bat, and then the herring just like back off of the points and stuff of where they were and get out there. And what happens then, when it got really good in the summertime, early, like right now, is the herring would get out there and get on those big long points, get way out. You may be sitting in 120 feet of water casting to 30. And if you could ever find them out there, in this format, that's kind of that could end up biting you in this format because it's hard to catch a lot of fish out there, but you can catch the right ones. But, it takes you all day to catch 5 of the right ones. So to sit there and say that's going to play a big deal in this, it's going to play a little, but I just don't see it playing a ton, getting offshore and catching herring fish. I think people beating the bank are going to be the ones doing better.
So when you say beat the bank on this kind of deal, they throw shaky heads and little underspins. What do you do up close to the bank if you're not way out off the bank doing it?
Yeah, you throw a shaky head. I mean, that's pretty much it. You're going to have top water bites. It's turning on really good, but, throwing a shaky head. If they get a real windy day, spinnerbait bite will be a big deal. But I've looked at the weather. I don't know that that's coming really. But you're going to have a top water bite on the bank, fishing shade, things like that. I mean, shaky head bites really, really good right now, and it's going to be good till all those spots. They're garden fry right now, and they're doing it really strong. And Lord, you'll see them. You'll be going down the bank and see a big ball up on the bank, and you know what's happening. So you can cast a wacky worm or a fluke or something up there, and they, eat it, and game's over. So you'll see a lot of that. The guy that kicks in on that, spotted bass guard in their fry, the ones that really, really understand that that's happening and put their trolling motor on high, those guys will be hard to beat.
Just cover a ton of water and try to look for that, see the...
You'll run up on them, yes, that's correct.
So what about, as far as the largemouth population, and that may be like the deep bite kind of deal, like, if you catch a largemouth, it might be pretty good size, but it's so hard to catch numbers. Do you see the largemouth deal playing much in this?
In this, if I was fishing it, the largemouth deal would play absolutely zero for me. And I love fishing for them up there. Don't get me wrong. I do it a lot. And I've done well with them. But to sit there and say they're going to play in this deal, no. Not in a numbers game. It's not going to play very much at all. I mean, if someone goes and tries to catch largemouth purposely, no, it's not going to play a big deal. I mean, because spots outnumber largemouth up there probably 10-1. And it's just, I just don't see where you can catch enough largemouth to make that, And now, don't get me wrong, if you're running a pocket or something with a buzz bait, and getting an area where you can catch either or, that's a great deal. But do I see that play? No, I don't.
So you'd say, like we talked, Ryan Creek and all that, it's kind of more of the largemouth deal. Would you rule that out right away and just not even go fool with that? It's a long run anyway for if they're coming out of the dam.
Yeah, the back of Ryan and the back of Simpson and all that. I mean, you get up in there, Trimble. I mean, it got beat to froth. I was fishing up there in the open, and I mean, it got so beat up. I mean, it might recover, but to sit there and say one person will probably do okay catching largemouth, but I can promise you that tournament won't even be anywhere close to one with largemouth. I mean, you just can't do it at Smith, especially a numbers game. You can't do it.
Well, I was going to say it jokingly, but, it might not be a bad idea to fish down here near the ramp. I was going to say if you want to fish for those Ryan Creek largemouth, just go down there and put it at the boat ramp, stay there, because that's where they are now. But,
that's right.
I mean, this thing...
if people here's the funny thing. My prediction, I was telling this to the people I was eating with tonight, the tournament's going to be won within 2 miles of the Coleman Park where they're going out of, okay? Or it's going to be one within 2 miles of the Smith Lake Dam. Okay, that's where all the fish live, and it's where all the fish are let go. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of going to be a lot of the fish weight are going to, come from those areas. They just are, because there's just such a giant population there.
And the thing that will be interesting too to see is how, they catch them and throw them right back, and you got a day off, and it's kind of spread out and everything. I wonder how much these fish garden fry, or a few of them still trying to bed, and you catch them and throw them back, and on these places where you're not actually like actively bed fishing, but just these spot points. I mean, I wonder how aggressive those fish are if you just catch them, dump them back, or you catch them again before the tournament's over. A few days later.
I'm glad you brought that up, Shay. I said that today out there. The deal is, the ones that are still badding in garden fry, you catch them, you let them go. If it's me, I catch them, let them go right down the bank and just hammer them. I go back, but I don't go back that day, but I go back 2 days later. I'll hammer the same fish again. They'll bite again. Not a problem.
That's crazy. That's going to be interesting to see on this deal. I've thought about it before, like in Florida, if you find a 10, you catch it off bed and throw it right back, and if it goes back to bed, try again. In this deal, and I've asked a few of the guys, and they said that they've talked about it, and they decided not to address it this year because they figure, if a guy sits there and wants to spend 2 hours trying to catch a fish twice, he's going to get buried. And, more than likely you would, but with this kind of deal like you're talking about, where you got a pattern, and you got 7 or 8 little points or pockets or whatever, and you just make your same built run, and you don't know it really, but you probably are catching. Well, they'll see hook holes, and they'll know. But it'll be interesting to see how much that deal happens. How much they address it.
It'll happen something fierce, because I caught one on a popper Wednesday morning of practice, about a 3 1/4. Ran to it Thursday in the clouds, fired a shaky head up there, and hooked it, and it got me in a tree and got off. I mean, same fish. I mean, it's on one rock, so that kind of deal. I mean, I caught it on a popper and had to like pull on it hard to get it out of the tree. Yeah. So I mean, I like ripped it to the boat, let him go, and the next day I had him hooked again. So it's not. I mean, that deal's going to play. Whoever wins, that deal's going to play in their favor a good bit, I believe. So,
as far as the herring deal, I mean, there's just a million pockets on the lake. They just get down in those ditches and guts like you were talking about.
That's what I hear. I mean, I have pulled in a few pockets this time of year and seen them, eating them spawning.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when they finish spawning, where do they go? Well, they go out and get them guts. And I've had friends that fished that same tournament up there a couple of years ago with us, like co-angler friends, that were with somebody that actually got in those kind of ditches that had them. And they sat there and just wore them out. I mean, making one cast, they catch 20 or 30 in a row. So when whoever finds that little pot of gold, and somebody will, you can bet on it. Somebody's going to be sitting in one spot making multiple casts and catching them. But that's not all over the lake. It's just in certain areas. Because like I say, I've been in pockets lately to where it looked like small dogs playing in the water on the bank. I mean, there's that many herring spawning.
And nothing messing with them.
Yeah, and there's not a fish around. So it's who finds the pocket with them. And when they find it with them, I mean, the game's going to be really good for a while.
Yeah, that herring deal, which we've got them down here on Martin now in the last year or two. And it's going to be interesting to see how it changes that fish. I'm not excited about it. I am to some degree because if you can figure it out, like you talking about with that open, I mean, you can take advantage of it if you can get on the front end of it. But it's just such a different deal. I'm so intimidated by deep water. And when I hear somebody talk about 120 foot of water, and which Martin relatively isn't that deep, but Smith, that's just what it is. I mean, you can be on the bank and click your bell and you can't hit bottom. But
sure.
I don't know, man. That it's just a weird deal to me, and I don't know. Them herring, like shad, seem to want to spawn on something. Do those herring have to get up against like a dock or the bank or grass? Well, I guess there's much grass.
I've never seen a herring spawn on a dock yet. I've seen them spawn on trees, and I see them spawn on the bank. So and they spawn on points. And what they do a lot of times spawning is, people don't realize this, is they'll get up on these shallow flat points, maybe foot 2-3 deep up there on the shallow flat point. They're actually spawning under the water. They're not necessarily right on the surface. You don't see them. So, somebody will find a couple of those points at daylight where they can throw, a swim bait or something like that up there and drag it on the bottom and just kill them for a little while. You'll see some of that stuff at daylight.
Yeah.
But now those herring leave, obviously that game's over. So I did have a batch of about 5 big spots coming up on me today, like right behind the boat. I mean, big ones busting the top. The time I threw a top water out there, I had one miss it, but then they went down. But you're going to have some of that, to where some guy's not catching anything and all of a sudden the lake explodes right behind his boat, and he catches 2 or 3 3-pounders. Yeah. You're going to have a little bit of that, so luck's going to play into it a little bit, just where and there's a few areas I hear they're schooling. I mean, like really schooling, big wads of them. I've never found it, but I do know a couple people that found it during the open. So,
do you know, does that herring spawn stretch out too if it's a little cloudy? Like the shad spawn, like if it stays cloudy in the morning, it seems
to
like
me, the herring spawn, I mean, to me, they do it almost better. I mean, they'll almost do it all day. I mean, herring went I guess back during the BFL up there a couple of weeks ago, Lord, it was 12 or 1 o'clock. I pulled in 4 straight pockets that were just full of them spawning in the middle of the day. So, sit there and tell you that I think it happens better at daylight, yes. But will they do it all pretty much all day, on and off? Yes, they will. But I think it's better at daylight, yes.
I've never seen that with shad, and they may do it, some too up in the day. But man, once it gets just a little bit of light on the water, it just seems to shut it completely down. So that's interesting.
It does if you're what I call you're in blue water or green water. Smith's blue water, most of Smith's blue water. When I say blue, very, very clear.
Yeah.
So when it's very, very clear, yes, it shuts it down almost instantly. Green water. You can, if you've got that little bit of tint that's green, you can still fish for them a lot of the day. I don't think a lot of people realize that. When I won Logan Martin, I won it on the shad spawn, and I did it all day. Yeah. I mean, now once it ended at daylight, or not at daylight, say 8 o'clock in the morning, once it stopped or slowed down, yeah, it slowed way down. I mean, I went to catching, one every 5 minutes to, I'd get 2 bites the rest of the day, but the bites I got were big ones. So, some of them still hang around because here's the deal. They're not, shatter spawning in the morning. Those fish aren't swimming a quarter mile away. Those fish are staying somewhere very close to where that shad spawn is going to happen the next night.
Yeah.
So it's just one of them deals to where you got to get around them to catch them. So, that's my theory. And I mean, obviously you get on that deal and it ends where you're still around them. You just figure out another way to catch them,
So the actual bass bedding, though, is kind of about to be played out, you think?
Yeah, I believe that deal's just about over. I mean, normally on Smith, they're done by about the 20th of April. I mean, just about done. But, of course, we had this moon that lingered in, a little longer than that. So I would guess, the bed fishing's 90% over, probably. I mean, I say that. I mean, the spot, I'm not talking about spot spawning. Spots that spawn 6-8 foot deep, you're not looking at them. You're casting a worm and catching them,
Right.
But there'd say you're, catching largemouth off the bed, that's probably going to be winding down. There'll be a few, but it'll be winding down pretty hard.
They bite pretty quick, largemouth up there, typically on the bed?
Depends. Yeah, they're not usually bad. I mean, you can usually catch most of them, yes. I mean,
I'm just curious.
I would say you can usually catch most of them. I mean, every now and then you'll find a stubborn one you can't, but most times they bite pretty quick, yes.
I'm going to throw you a scenario that's probably going to happen to somebody. So say you're out there, you're going on the bank, and you come across, say, 3-pounder on bed. How long do you give him to try to catch it? Knowing you can go catch a bunch for this format.
3-pound largemouth on bed, I'm going to give him, 10. I mean, I'm going to read what he's doing in 5 or 10 minutes, and that's it. If he's not giving me any vibes I like, I'm gone.
Yeah. So 4-pounder. I mean, does it matter?
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to read what he's doing. I mean, is that fish catchable?
Yeah.
And I don't believe he is, I mean, I might get out a 2-ounce tungsten weight and hit him in the head a few times and really see how interested he is biting. Yeah. And, if he's not, heck, I mean, I'm gone. So I'm not going to give him long at all.
Is it that easy for you, though, on sight fish? Is it really for you? Because a lot of these guys, they get so bent out of shape. I've had them, I mean, it's gotten personal with me and a couple of them before. But,
sure.
I mean, they're obviously, top of the game, true professionals. But just a little bit, I've watched some bedfish and stuff on some of this stuff so far. That's the coolest thing to me about this format, or the most interesting thing I've seen this spring, is how all these conversations go on in your mind constantly with the score tracker going off, blaring in the background. And they're trying to decide, do I spend a few more minutes on this bedfish or do I leave it, what happens? And that's something I've really enjoyed watching, just because it's totally different now with this deal than what it was. I mean, a 4-pounder on Smith, would you have, how often would you pass that up?
Sure.
On bed,
sure.
Sitting there looking
but,
at it.
But, here's the deal. I mean, if it's going to take me 30 minutes to catch that 4-pounder, and that 30 minutes I could catch 4 1-pounder.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at it. This isn't of course, we've got a slot limit on Smith, and now they ain't got a fool with a slot limit because they're weighing them and throwing them back. Yeah. So it's got to where, this is going to be a numbers deal. Yeah. This game's not going to be quality, it's going to be quantity. So, that's the deal. It's just who can catch the most fish, really not the biggest is what this is going to play out to be.
Do you find most of the fish on Smith grouped by size? Like those bigger ones just get out and the smaller ones don't?
It depends on how you're fishing. If you're what I call herring fishing, this time of year is offshore, off the points and on the humps and, this type of deal. So, yes and no. I mean, you get out there herring fishing, you're not going to catch one smaller than about 13 or 14 inches. You're just not. I mean, most of them you catch out there over 15, which is over the slot. So is that if somebody can figure out a way to catch, 15 or 20 of those herring fish a day, Well, heck, they've got 30, 40 pounds,
Yeah.
Which is going to do good. But, if somebody figures out how to get up on the bank and throw a worm and catch 50 a day, well, they're going to do good too, So it just depends. They're going to be able to pick their poison, whatever they want to do, really, in my opinion.
Is brush a big deal this time of year, or is it more rock and open water stuff?
To me, it's rock and open water. I mean, I've got a bunch of brush buried in the lake, and Lord, I've been up there a lot the last 3 weeks, and I ain't even fished any of it. So I can't sit here and tell you that, to me, the brush don't get good till on the end of May, when you get in the night tournaments, when the water starts getting hot, is when the brush is good. But, right now, the banks are full of brim, and of course, your brushing all gets good when the brim get in the brush.
Yeah.
But right now, the little brim are all up on the bank, so to me, that's not going to play a ton. It'll play a little, but nothing major.
All right, I say, give me, so you kind of hinted around it, give me your prediction for what it's going to take to, I don't know about leading the first round, because the guys, once they kind of get up towards the top, they start laying off of them some.
Sure.
It's hard to hit that, too, because it's just a moving target. But, I mean, it's just hard for them to figure out what they need to do. But as far as conserving fish and trying to fish all the way through, I think they're going to be on Smith the whole time for this one.
They are.
Yeah, so that's going to be hard.
I know they're going to be, you'll have your Tuesday, Thursday guys and your Wednesday, Friday guys. Yeah. And then, of course, they cut Saturday and then cut Sunday. Yeah. So it's, what will
make the cut into
I hadn't even thought of that. What will lead the two different 40 packs? Oh God, after 2 days, oh man. God, that's a great question. Because I mean, I got them pretty well dialed in now. I mean, I would think, oh man,
like 80 to. I think 40 a day is pretty doable.
It's so hard to say. Well, that dang herring and shad spawn.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. And how many herring fish get off the bank? Because there's going to be about 5 or 6 ways they can catch them really good. And I would say, of course, like you say, they lay off. So let's just say the first, let's say the Tuesday, Wednesday rounds. Yeah. I'm going to say. Oh yeah, I mean you're gonna need 40-ish pounds. I mean to lead each one of those rounds, you're gonna need that. I think that's very doable. So you're gonna see a lot of them in the 20s, but I think up near 40, 45-ish. You may say I'd say 40 poundish. Is gonna lead the first day of each round.
Yeah.
And then the ones that obviously they're listening to the score tracker, if they've got a bunch of people ain't catching nothing, well, they may start laying off the first day. Yeah. But it's I still think number wise. I mean, like today I was up there. I mean, we caught 7, 8, 9. We probably had a big 5 today of 14 pounds, and probably everything over a pound. I didn't get up there till after church, and we would have had 25, 26, 27 pounds easy this afternoon. Yeah. So I'm gonna say, it's gonna need to be close to that 40 range.
Who do you like in this one? I mean, you got a lot of good herring fishermen like Casey Ashley.
You got a lot of everything. I mean, it's hard to say. There's so many locals in this one. You got Gerald, and you got the Lees, and you got Justin Lucas fishes up there a lot from Gunnersville. I mean, you got so many guys. And Jesse, obviously, just crushes them up there. I mean, so you got so many guys that are from here, and it's hard to say. I mean, those names I mentioned are going to do well, every one of them. Yeah. They know the little tricks and, what you do this time of year. I mean, you can bet on every one of them I just said. I mean, they're going to do good. But, Jesse, the Lees, Gerald, Justin, I mean, they're all going to do really good. It's just hard to say. I mean, you're going to have guys that's, stuff you're not guys, I mean, Andy and a bunch of them guys, they may do well, but I still look for all your local guys to Smith. I mean, there's just something about knowing how to catch a lot of fish up there, and all those guys know how to catch numbers up there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be hard and they don't have to go hunt. They've got so many places in their mind, they don't have to go pre-fish. Yeah. saying I'm not practicing on any of this stuff. I'm on fishing, period.
Yeah.
So that will be the big deal. I mean, it's just going to be knowing where to be and knowing what to do, and they're all going to know that. So.
Well, with the bed fishing deal dying off too, I mean, it kind of brings that local advantage back into play big time. And then I guess the kink in that is the herring and shad spawns. You know, if an out of town guy stumbles on the right wad,
Sure.
you know, he's back ahead of the game. But do they spawn, the bait fish spawn in the same areas most of the time? Like, do y'all know, you know, certain areas to go check, or is it just kind of random?
I pulled in the back of a creek. Let me get the day right. We started Thursday. This would have been Tuesday morning. I pulled in the back of a creek, and the left side of the creek was nothing but shad spawning. I mean, sounded like, again, little puppies playing in the water. And the right side of the creek were 5-inch herring climbing on the bank. So when I say they spawn in the same places, yes, a lot of the same places they spawn right in the same place because I've seen it.
Yeah.
So
do they spawn the same places year to year though? Like as far as going and looking for certain areas?
I think so. Yes, I believe they do because I've got a few places up the river that I've seen them do it. You know, really consistently the last 3 years. So yes, they normally spawn in the same places. Correct.
I got you. So that kind of tips it back to the locals. Smith is just from the little I fished an opener or two up there, and it is a beast for somebody who is not familiar with it. It's just it's not that wide. It's deceiving, but it's so expansive. Like you can go, and then when you add 100 foot of water under you, that just adds there's just a lot of volume to cover and try to figure out and dial in. And for somebody, and I'm sure, you know, once you finally figure out something, you can start seeing things. It's like, to me, it's the same difference as flipping grass on Okeechobee. Like, you get down there and you look out there and it's just all the same. But once you start getting a few bites, little stuff starts keying in. So I'm sure it's the same way, but I just never got those bites, and I never was able to dial anything in. But that's where that local knowledge has got to play, like you're talking about. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, I wish they would do for this thing a best 5 fish. They got their biggest fish for each guy, but I wish they would do just like traditional limit and then show that this guy's best 5 are 17 pounds, you know?
Sure.
It'd be pretty cool just to see.
And another thing's going to play a big deal. I've seen I think they're calling for some rain toward the weekend.
Yeah.
So what you've got is they're going to practice in all this sun and fish in all this sun. And when I say that baby's going to change, because it did to me, you know, Thursday when it was cloudy, I just didn't catch them well. And then, of course, I had them dialed in with the sun out. And Friday I caught them good. So you just, you know, that's going to play a big deal. But, you know, the reason I say the local guys, I mean, like for me, I can go up there and, oh, hey, I caught a good one doing this. Oh, wait, I caught another good one doing this. Wait, I know where 50 places are like that. You know, I can just take off and go run them.
Yeah.
So that's where the local knowledge is going to come in. You know, that they can just take off in their brain and go fishing.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, that's where it's really going to help them.
You're not in search mode. You just jump back in the old milk run and see what happens.
That's it. That's correct.
So have y'all had we had a ton of rain down here, and it flooded, got Martin up a little bit, but I mean, they pushed it all through and it flooded these lakes below Martin and all. Has it been high up there in the bushes any?
Yeah, it's been super high. It was, oh Lord, all the practice for the Open last week. It was 510s full. It was 512 and change. And finally, when they got it leveled, today it was 509.5 or something. I mean, they sucked the bottom out, which I wish they wouldn't. They probably sucked the bottom out on a bunch of dang, you know, shad spawn and herring spawn and even bass eggs. You know what I mean? So I really wish they wouldn't have dropped it this low, but they have. And I think they quit pulling it, looking at the generating schedule, but golly, to me, they dropped it about a foot too much, you know. But anyways, yes, the ton of rain, it's been up. Smith's been up over full now for golly, for 5, 6, 7 weeks. It's been up for a while.
I don't have, I usually pull up the weather on here, but I don't have it pulled up right now. You said there's rain coming. Is there enough rain to do that again, to get it rising again?
Not what I've seen. I just, 40, 50% stuff. Yeah. So, no, it didn't show any kind of, and that don't mean it don't change it, but it didn't show any kind of flooding rain to really shoot it up much.
Yeah, well, that gives us a bunch to look at for this week, and I appreciate you taking the time tonight, and it's always good to catch up, and wish things had worked out a little bit better for you last week. But that's fishing. You sound like you had my luck getting that one outside the check kind of deal. So.
Oh, hey, it is what it is. It's my fault. I practiced dumb. I knew the rain was coming, and I kept my head down fishing for fun. But hey, that's what happens.
Well, we get to sit back and spectate and enjoy an interesting one this week. So on the old home pond.
That's right.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it, David, and you have a good one. I'll talk to you later, man.
Hey, thanks, Shaye.
All right, that's it. Another episode of Predicting Patterns Now. We got Smith Lake, going to be an interesting one. You guys tune in. It starts up Tuesday. Check y'all later.